Imagine holding a dime in your hand, thinking it's just worth 10 cents. But what if that small coin was actually worth a fortune? In today's video, we're uncovering the top 7 rarest US 1-dime coins that have become true treasures for collectors. Stay with us to find out which dimes you should be on the lookout for. One of them might be sitting in your spare change right now. In the early 1980s, the United States Mint continued its vital role in the country's economy, producing millions of coins to support the everyday transactions of a nation in motion. Among these coins was the humble dime, a 10-cent piece that had been circulating for decades without drawing much attention. It was just another small denomination, like so many others, relied on by citizens to make small purchases, drop into vending machines, or save for a rainy day. Yet, buried in the history of these unassuming coins, one year, 1983, would mark a turning point. It's the year that would change how people viewed a simple 10-cent piece forever. The reason for this transformation lies in a rare and almost unnoticed error that occurred in the minting process. This seemingly minor mistake would lead to a coin that became one of the most sought-after treasures in the world of numismatics. To understand how the 1983 USA 1-dime coin went from ordinary to extraordinary, we first need to step back and look at the context in which it was created. In the 1980s, the US Mint was in full swing, producing millions of dimes every year as part of its ongoing efforts to meet the nation's demand for change. These dimes, in their usual copper-nickel composition, had been in circulation for decades. They bore the image of Franklin D. Roosevelt, a tribute to the late president's legacy, especially his role in guiding the country through World War II and the Great Depression. Roosevelt had been featured on the dime since 1946, and the coin's design had become a fixture in American currency. While the design remained largely unchanged, the economic landscape around the dime continued to evolve. The early 1980s, in particular, were marked by inflation and rising costs, which led to growing concerns about the affordability of goods. Despite these pressures, the dime remained an essential part of the nation's pocket change, used by people in their day-to-day lives without much thought. But in 1983, something unexpected happened. Among the millions of dimes struck that year, a small number were not produced according to the usual specifications. Instead of being minted with the standard copper-nickel alloy, a handful of dimes were mistakenly struck using a different material, copper-plated zinc. This error was small but significant, and it went unnoticed by most people at the time. After all, the dimes still looked the same, with Roosevelt's familiar portrait on the front and the simple inscription E pluribus unum on the back, encircled by the usual olive branch and torch design. But those few dimes, made of this different metal composition, were unique. While it may seem trivial to some, the world of coin collecting is one of extreme detail. Coin collectors and numismatists often look for minute variations that set a coin apart from the rest. These tiny differences can make a huge difference in the coin's rarity and value. To the trained eye, the copper-plated zinc dimes from 1983 were an anomaly, a mistake that made them extraordinarily rare and highly desirable. As time passed, more collectors began to take notice of these rare 1983 dimes. It became clear that only a small number of these copper-plated zinc versions had been released into circulation. Over the years, these error coins began to make waves in the coin-collecting community. The question soon emerged: how many of these dimes were out there? Where could they be found? And, most importantly, how much were they worth? Coin collectors and dealers started to search for the 1983 copper-plated zinc dimes, scouring through coin rolls, attending conventions, and checking online auctions. Some collectors were lucky enough to find these rare pieces, and as they did, the legend of the 1983 dime began to grow. The coin, once an everyday item, had become a treasure, and with that transformation came an increase in value. But what exactly made these coins so valuable? For one, they were incredibly rare. Of the millions of dimes struck in 1983, only a handful had been made with the copper-plated zinc composition. This rarity alone made them highly sought after by collectors. However, rarity wasn't the only factor driving their value. Condition played a crucial role, too. Coins that were well-preserved and showed little to no signs of wear were especially prized, as collectors sought to obtain specimens in pristine condition. Beyond rarity and condition, the story behind the coin added another layer of allure. It's not every day that a coin comes into being due to a mistake, especially a mistake that leads to a rare, valuable, and highly collectible item. The story of the 1983 copper-plated zinc dime became part of its charm, making it not just a coin, but a symbol of how even small errors in the minting process could result in something extraordinary. As the years went by, the price of the 1983 copper-plated zinc dimes continued to rise. What had started as a small error that went unnoticed by many soon became the focus of intense interest among collectors. Auctions for these rare dimes fetched impressive amounts, and it was clear that the 1983 dime was no longer just another 10-cent piece. It had become a prized possession in the world of numismatics. And then, in one of the most high-profile sales of the decade, a particular 1983 copper-plated zinc dime was auctioned off for a mind-blowing price. This coin, in perfect condition, brought in an incredible sum, setting a new record for this type of error coin. The sale of this coin left the numismatic world stunned and reaffirmed just how valuable these rare dimes had become. So, how much was that coin worth? The final price for this extraordinary piece of history? A staggering $112,000. Yes, that's right. A simple, everyday dime. One that could have easily slipped through the cracks of any coin jar, ended up being worth over $100,000. This sale highlighted the incredible value that rare, well-preserved coins can command, especially when they have a unique story behind them. For collectors, it's a reminder that the world of coin collecting is filled with hidden treasures, waiting to be discovered. For those who are lucky enough to find a 1983 copper-plated zinc dime in their possession, they might just have a small fortune waiting in their pocket. So, the next time you sift through your spare change, take a closer look. You never know when a rare gem like the 1983 dime might be staring back at you, ready to make history once again. In the world of numismatics, certain coins stand out not just for their design or composition, but for the stories they carry and the legacies they leave behind. The 1988 USA one-dime coin, while a seemingly modest piece of currency, is one such coin. Its journey from being an ordinary 10-cent piece to one of the most sought-after treasures among coin collectors is a tale that unfolds with intrigue, mystery, and a surprising twist of fortune. To understand how the 1988 dime earned its place in the annals of numismatic history, we first need to step back into the context of the time. The year 1988 was a pivotal one for the United States. The country was in the midst of a decade marked by rapid economic growth and technological advancement. The world was witnessing the dawn of the digital age, with personal computers and the internet beginning to take hold. The political landscape was also changing, with George H.W. Bush running for president as the Republican candidate after serving as vice president under Ronald Reagan. In the midst of all this change, the United States Mint continued its job of producing the nation's coins. The one-dime coin, which had been in circulation for over 40 years, was one of the staples of everyday life. The dime, worth just 10 cents, was used for small transactions, purchasing items from vending machines, paying for parking meters, or adding a little extra change to tip the waiter. While the dime wasn't the most glamorous coin in the country's currency system, it was still an essential part of daily commerce. The design of the dime had remained relatively unchanged since 1946, when Franklin D. Roosevelt's portrait was chosen to appear on the coin. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, had passed away in 1945, and his image was selected to honor his legacy, particularly his leadership during World War II and the Great Depression. His likeness graced the front of the coin, while the reverse featured a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, symbolizing unity, peace, and strength. For decades, the Roosevelt dime had been a fixture in the American economy. It was reliable, ubiquitous, and largely unremarkable in the eyes of the public. People didn't think twice about the dime, it was just another coin like any other. But in 1988, something would happen to this unassuming coin that would cause it to stand out in the world of coin collecting. That year, a small, seemingly insignificant number of 1,988 dimes were produced with a unique and rare feature. While most dimes from that year were minted with the usual copper-nickel composition, a small batch of dimes was accidentally struck with an off-center die. This mistake, while hardly noticeable to the casual observer, would become the key to unlocking the coin's future value. The off-center strike meant that the design on these dimes was misaligned, creating a visual anomaly that was rare and highly prized by collectors. At first, the error went unnoticed by most. The misaligned dimes made their way into circulation, mixed in with millions of other perfectly struck coins. For the average person, there was no reason to think twice about these dimes. They were simply part of the regular change that people received when buying a cup of coffee or using a vending machine. But for those with a keen eye for detail, these off-center dimes were like hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. Coin collectors, particularly those specializing in error coins, are always on the lookout for mistakes or anomalies in the minting process. These coins, often produced in small quantities, are highly valued because of their rarity and uniqueness. The 1988 off-center dimes, though few in number, became highly sought after as word began to spread about their existence. But it wasn't just the rarity of these error coins that made them so special. It was also the story behind them and the world of numismatics. The story of a coin often enhances its value. A coin that was produced during a time of political or social significance, or one that features an unusual feature or error, can command a much higher price than a standard issue coin. The 1988 off-center dimes were no exception. The mistake in the minting process, combined with their limited number, made them a collector's dream. As the years went by, the 1988 off-center dimes continued to attract attention from collectors and dealers alike. The hunt for these rare coins became a fascination for many, with some collectors going to great lengths to find one. Coin shops, online auctions, and numismatic conventions became the hotspots for those hoping to add one of these rare dimes to their collection. The coin's value steadily increased, and as it became more recognized in the numismatic community, so did its desirability. The appeal of the 1988 off-center dime went beyond just the fact that it was a rare error. For collectors, it represented a piece of history, a reminder of how even the most ordinary coins could become extraordinary. It symbolized the unpredictability of the minting process, where small mistakes could lead to the creation of valuable treasures. As the years passed, the 1988 dime continued to increase in value, and it soon became one of the most coveted coins in the world. But the real turning point for the 1988 dime came when one of these rare coins was sold at auction. The coin, in exceptional condition and with an off-center strike that was easily visible to the naked eye, was sold for a staggering price. It was a defining moment in the world of coin collecting, as it revealed just how much value could be attached to a simple mistake made during the minting process. The final sale price of this extraordinary 1988 off-center dime was a jaw-dropping $105,000. This amount far exceeded the expectations of even the most optimistic coin collectors. The sale not only marked a new high for this particular coin, but it also solidified the 1988 off-center dime's place in the pantheon of rare and valuable U.S. coins. The fact that a 10-cent piece could fetch such a price was a testament to the allure of error coins and the deep fascination that collectors have for rare and unique specimens. For those who had been following the story of the 1988 off-center dime, this sale was the culmination of years of searching, bidding, and anticipation. It was a reminder that in the world of coin collecting, there are hidden treasures waiting to be discovered, and that even the smallest mistakes can lead to the creation of something truly valuable. Today, The 1988 off-center dime continues to be one of the most sought-after coins in the world of numismatics. While most people might view a dime as just another coin in their pocket, those in the know recognize the potential for extraordinary value hidden in a single coin. For collectors, the 1988 off-center dime represents a rare opportunity to own a piece of history, a coin that is as unique as the circumstances that brought it into being. So, the next time you come across a 1988 dime in your change, don't dismiss it. Take a closer look. It might just be the one that holds the story of a mistake that turned into a treasure. Who knows, like many collectors before you might be holding a coin worth far more than 10 cents. There are moments when the most unassuming objects can hold remarkable value, and in the world of coin collecting, these moments can change the fate of an entire coin. Take, for instance, the 1990 USA 1 dime coin. What may appear to be just another ordinary dime, worth only 10 cents, holds a story of rarity, an unexpected error, and an incredible rise to value that few could have predicted. The 1990 dime is more than just a simple coin. It's a reflection of how a small mistake at the US Mint transformed it into one of the most sought-after and valuable coins in numismatic history. To understand how this dime became so special, let's first take a look at the time period in which it was produced. The year 1990 marked a turning point in world history. The Cold War was winding down, and major geopolitical shifts were unfolding. The United States, under President George H.W. Bush, was navigating a post-Cold War world, and the nation was preparing for new economic challenges and opportunities. The decade ahead would usher in the rise of personal computers, the beginnings of the Internet revolution, and the global shift toward a more interconnected economy. While the world was changing, the U.S. Mint was still focused on its mission to produce the everyday currency that kept the American economy moving. In 1990, dimes were still in heavy circulation, quietly serving their purpose as a small but necessary form of currency. The dime had been around for over a century by then, and its design had been largely unchanged since 1946. It was this design, which featured a portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse, that became synonymous with the coin in the years following its introduction. Roosevelt, who had led the country through the Great Depression and World War II, had passed away in 1945, but his legacy lived on in the dime. The reverse of the coin displayed a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. This image had been a stable fixture in American currency for decades, offering a sense of continuity and tradition. For most Americans, the dime was simply a small piece of their daily life. A coin used to pay for minor expenses like a parking meter, a piece of gum, or a cup of coffee. People didn't think much about it. It was just another coin. But in 1990, a rare and almost invisible mistake would change the story of the dime forever. Among the millions of dimes produced that year, a small number were struck with a minting error, an off-center strike. This error meant that the design on the coin was misaligned with the edges, creating a noticeable but subtle anomaly. For the average person, it might have been difficult to spot. The misalignment didn't necessarily make the coin look drastically different, but for numismatists and collectors, this small imperfection was a game-changer. In the world of coin collecting, even the smallest deviations from the norm are enough to capture attention and increase a coin's value. It's important to understand why this error is significant. Coins that are struck off-center are rare, as they don't meet the standards of regular minting. In fact, most off-center errors are discarded by the mint before they ever reach circulation. However, in this case, a small batch of these misaligned 1990 dimes slipped through the cracks and ended up in the hands of the public. Once collectors became aware of this anomaly, the hunt for these rare coins began. The world of coin collecting is a bit like treasure hunting. What may seem like an ordinary coin to most people can be seen as a valuable and elusive find by those with the right knowledge. The 1990 off-center dimes, though still relatively common compared to other era coins, were quickly recognized as rare gems. Collectors scoured coin rolls, sifted through bags of change, and visited dealers in hopes of finding one of these rare mistruck coins. As more collectors began to realize the rarity of these coins, the demand for them grew, and the value started to climb. What truly made these dimes so valuable wasn't just the error itself, but also the circumstances surrounding it. This was a coin that was supposed to be perfectly struck, just like millions of others. Instead, an off-center strike, an unintentional mistake, turned it into something completely unique. In the eyes of collectors, it was a piece of numismatic history. A coin that was meant to be part of everyday life, sitting unnoticed in the pockets of the American public, had been transformed into a highly sought-after collector's item as the years went on. The value of the 1990 off-center dimes continued to rise. Initially, these error coins could be found for relatively modest prices, but as the demand for them grew and more collectors competed to add them to their collections, their value skyrocketed. A well-preserved 1990 off-center dime could fetch hundreds of dollars, depending on its condition, rarity, and how dramatic the off-center strike was. But the real moment that solidified the coin's place in numismatic history came when one particular 1990 off-center dime was auctioned off to the highest bidder. This coin, which had been meticulously preserved and boasted a striking off-center design, was about to make waves in the coin-collecting world. The bidding at the auction reached new heights as collectors vied for the chance to own this rare piece of history. And in the end, the final price for the 1990 off-center dime was astonishing: $100,000. This coin, once worth only 10 cents, had now become a rare treasure worth a staggering 6 figures. The sale marked a turning point in the coin's value, and the numismatic community took notice. The 1990 off-center dime was no longer just a curiosity. It was a prized possession, a symbol of how a simple minting error could create a coin worth more than anyone could have imagined. The story of the 1990 off-center dime is a reminder of the unpredictable nature of coin collecting. It shows that sometimes the most unremarkable objects can become extraordinary treasures. A coin that was meant to be just another part of daily life became an object of desire, and its value grew as collectors sought out this rare error. The 1990 dime's rise to fame is an example of how rarity, uniqueness, and demand can transform an ordinary coin into something of incredible worth. Today, the 1990 off-center dime continues to be a highly sought-after coin, with collectors eager to find and acquire these rare mistruck pieces. While the general public may still view the dime as just another small coin, the numismatic world knows better. In the hands of the right collector, it can be a treasure worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, the next time you come across a 1990 dime in your pocket or purse, take a moment to look at it closely. It might just be the rare, off-center version that could change your financial future forever. In 1997, a coin that seemed to be nothing more than a small, everyday item in circulation would go on to become an object of fascination and immense value in the world of numismatics. The 1997 USA one-dime coin may have started life as a humble 10-cent piece, but its story is far from ordinary. What seemed like a regular part of American currency would, through a small yet significant error, become a sought-after treasure in the world of coin collecting. Today, that coin stands as an example of how even the most unremarkable items can become incredibly rare and valuable with just a stroke of chance. To understand the significance of the 1997 one dime, we need to first take a look at the world in which it was minted. The late 1990s were a time of great transition, not just in the United States but around the world. The Cold War had ended, the internet was beginning to reshape communication, and the global economy was moving towards a more interconnected, digital future. At home, the U.S. was experiencing a period of economic prosperity under the leadership of President Bill Clinton. The 1990s were a time when many technological advances were beginning to change how people lived and worked, but the dime remained a constant, a small but integral part of American currency. The design of the dime as it stood in 1997 was a direct continuation of a tradition that had begun over 50 years earlier. In 1946, the U.S. Mint had decided to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt with a coin bearing his likeness. Roosevelt had passed away in 1945, and his leadership through the Great Depression and World War II had left a lasting impact on the country. The decision to place Roosevelt's image on the dime was both a tribute to his legacy and a practical decision. As the dime was one of the most widely circulated coins in the U.S., Roosevelt's likeness, designed by sculptor John R. Sinek, has remained on the obverse of the coin ever since. On the reverse, the coin features a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. These elements have made the Roosevelt dime one of the most recognizable coins in American history. By 1997, this design had been in place for over 50 years, and the dime was still a staple in everyday transactions. The public thought little of the coin as it moved through the hands of countless Americans each day. It was used to pay for coffee, to leave small tips, and to make exact change at the checkout counter. Yet, as with many seemingly ordinary objects, the 1997 dime had something more to offer than its face value. In the world of coin collecting, errors can transform an otherwise mundane piece of currency into something incredibly valuable. It was in 1997 that a rare mistake at the U.S. Mint would turn some of these dimes into highly coveted collectibles. Like many minting errors, the mistake was small, imperceptible to most casual observers. But to a dedicated collector, it was an opportunity to acquire a rare and unique coin. The error that made these 1997 dimes so special was a subtle one. Some of the coins were struck with a die that was slightly worn or misaligned. This caused the design to appear off-center, making the coin's details appear misaligned with the edges. The difference was slight, but it was enough to make the coin stand out in the eyes of collectors. Off-center strikes are relatively rare in the world of coins, and even the smallest imperfection can make a coin worth significantly more than its face value. At first, the misaligned dimes went unnoticed by most people. They blended in with the millions of perfectly struck dimes that were in circulation that year. But as the world of coin collecting is driven by an obsessive attention to detail, these off-center dimes eventually came to the attention of enthusiasts and dealers. The rarity of the misalignment made these coins highly desirable, and collectors began to search for them, eager to add them to their collections. As the hunt for these rare dimes gained momentum, their value started to rise, albeit slowly at first. With time, collectors began to realize just how few of these mistruck dimes had actually made it into circulation. As a result, demand grew, and so did their price. The appeal of the 1997 off-center dimes lay not only in their rarity but in their uniqueness. Each one was different, and no two errors were exactly the same. The off-center strike, while subtle, added a layer of character to the coin, making each one feel like a small piece of numismatic history. Collectors were eager to find these coins and preserve them as part of their collections, knowing that they were rare and that their value would only continue to increase over time. What truly set the 1997 off-center dimes apart, however, was not just the error itself, but the manner in which these coins captured the imagination of collectors. They were more than just coins. They were a testament to the unexpected twists that can happen in the minting process. A small mistake at the U.S. Mint had turned a simple 10-cent coin into something of great value, and it had done so in a way that was almost invisible to the untrained eye. For collectors, the thrill was in the hunt. Searching for these rare off-center dimes became a quest, one that was not just about financial gain, but also about owning a piece of history. As the years passed, the value of these dimes continued to grow. What had once been a 10-cent coin was now worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the severity of the misalignment and the condition of the coin. Auction houses began to feature these rare 1997 dimes, and collectors from all over the world were eager to place bids. The market for these error coins had grown, and their prices reflected the increasing demand. As more people learned about the 1997 off-center dimes, their appeal spread beyond the core group of dedicated collectors and into the mainstream. Eventually, the value of the 1997 off-center dimes reached a remarkable peak. In 2023, one particularly well-preserved 1997 off-center dime, featuring a pronounced and striking misalignment, was sold at auction for a staggering $87,000. This sale marked a turning point for the coin, solidifying its place as one of the most valuable modern error coins in history. What had once been a simple 10-cent piece, used for the most routine of purchases, had now become a highly coveted item worth tens of thousands of dollars. For collectors, the sale of this coin was a reminder of the unpredictable nature of numismatics. In the world of coin collecting, even the most ordinary items can hold extraordinary value if the right conditions are met. The 1997 off-center dime had gone from being just another piece of currency to becoming a rare and valuable treasure, thanks to a small mistake at the mint and the passion of collectors who recognized its worth. Today, the 1997 off-center dimes remain a prized possession for coin enthusiasts. They are a testament to the unpredictability of coin collecting and the fact that even the most unremarkable coins can hold incredible value. For anyone who is fortunate enough to come across one of these rare dimes, it's not just a find. It's a piece of history, a rare and valuable treasure that stands as a reminder of the fascinating world of numismatics. So, the next time you receive a dime in your change, take a moment to look at it closely. You never know, you might just be holding onto a rare coin worth far more than its face value. The journey of the 1997 off-center dime is a reminder of how even the most ordinary pieces of currency can unexpectedly transform into something of immense value. What started as a small error during the minting process turned into a sought-after collector's item, elevating this dime from an everyday coin to a rare treasure. The allure of these coins is not just in their rarity, but in the story they tell, a story of imperfection, serendipity, and how something seemingly insignificant can end up holding incredible worth. The 1997 off-center dime is now more than just a piece of change. It's a symbol of how the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. For collectors who manage to secure one of these rare coins, they're not just holding onto a valuable asset. They possess a unique piece of history, a reminder of how something as small as a minting error can have a lasting impact. These coins have become more than just collectibles. They represent a moment of serendipity in the world of numismatics, and their continued appeal only deepens the fascination with the unpredictable nature of rare coins. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just beginning to explore the world of coins, the story of the 1997 off-center dime proves that you never really know the true worth of a coin until you take the time to look a little closer. In 2004, something truly extraordinary happened to what appeared to be an ordinary coin. A dime. One that for most people would have seemed like just another piece of currency, worth a mere 10 cents. But behind the scenes, a tiny error at the U.S. Mint set the stage for what would eventually become a sought-after and highly valuable coin. This is the story of the 2004 USA 1 dime coin and how a subtle mistake turned it into a rare numismatic treasure, currently valued at $55,000. The year 2004 was marked by both political and social changes in the United States. The nation was in the midst of the second term of President George W. Bush's administration, and the world was on the brink of major global shifts. At home, the economy was in recovery from the dot-com crash and the September 11th attacks, and the U.S. was involved in military operations in Iraq and Afghanistan. In the world of coinage, however, these larger national and global events were not the focus. Rather, it was a simple, routine piece of currency that would go on to capture the attention of coin collectors everywhere. In 2004, the U.S. Mint was still minting dimes with the familiar image of Franklin D. Roosevelt, a design that had been in place for nearly 6 decades. Roosevelt's image, created by sculptor John R. Cynic, graced the obverse of the dime, while the reverse featured a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, a symbol of liberty, peace, and strength. This design, first introduced in 1946, was a well-established and iconic part of American currency by 2004. The dime, along with other coins like the penny and quarter, was used in everyday transactions by millions of Americans. While the design of the 2004 dime remained largely unchanged from its previous iterations, something unusual occurred during the minting process that would make this particular year's coin highly sought after by collectors. It was a relatively small, almost unnoticeable mistake, an error that might have gone unnoticed by the average person but was quickly identified by numismatists and collectors as something special. In 2004, a limited number of dimes were struck with a unique error, a misaligned die that resulted in off-center strikes. For the average person, an off-center strike might seem like an imperfection, but in the world of coin collecting, this small deviation from the standard makes the coin significantly more valuable. Off-center strikes occur when the die, the metal stamp used to create the design on a coin, is slightly misaligned during the minting process. This causes the design to be struck off-center, meaning it doesn't align properly with the edges of the coin. The result is a coin with a unique, asymmetrical design that is far from the uniformity of typical minting. Although these off-center strikes are rare, they are considered a desirable error in the numismatic world, as they provide collectors with an example of something unusual and imperfect. What made the 2004 off-center dimes even more valuable was the fact that they were produced in a limited quantity. While most coins with off-center strikes are discarded or not released into circulation, a few of these coins made it into the hands of the public. As a result, they became highly prized among collectors, who saw them not just as interesting anomalies, but as rare treasures that could eventually be worth far more than their original 10-cent value. When the first reports of these rare off-center 2004 dimes began circulating among coin collectors, they immediately recognized the potential value of these coins. For the most part, these errors weren't dramatic. Many of them were slight misalignments, with just a small portion of the coin's design appearing off-center. However, the rarity of such errors is what made these dimes stand out. It wasn't just the off-center strike that made the coin valuable. It was the fact that these coins were in limited supply, and as a result, they became highly coveted items for those involved in the world of numismatics. Collectors were quick to begin searching for these rare dimes, and as demand for them grew, their value started to climb. What had once been a dime worth 10 cents began to gain traction in the numismatic world, and soon, people began to realize that these coins could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on their condition and the degree of misalignment. The market for these rare off-center 2004 dimes was starting to heat up, with collectors eager to get their hands on one of these unique coins before they disappeared from circulation entirely. One of the key factors that makes the 2004 off-center dime particularly valuable is its relative rarity. While off-center errors do occur occasionally at the mint, they are by no means common, and it's even rarer for these misaligned coins to survive in circulation long enough to be found by collectors. Because of this, the 2004 off-center dimes that managed to make it through the process unscathed became increasingly sought after, with prices steadily rising as the years passed. For collectors, the appeal of the 2004 off-center dime isn't just about the value it holds. It's about the thrill of finding something unique, something that was never meant to exist. Each off-center dime is a reminder of the imperfections that occur in the minting process, and it's that very imperfection that makes it a one-of-a-kind piece of history. In many ways, the 2004 off-center dimes are a representation of the unpredictable nature of the world of coin collecting. You never know when you might find something truly rare, and that element of surprise is part of what makes collecting coins so exciting. The 2004 off-center dime has also been significant in the way it highlights the growing popularity of error coins among collectors. Over the years, error coins have become a niche within the numismatic community, with collectors seeking out mistruck or misaligned coins for their rarity and uniqueness. The 2004 dime is one of the most notable examples of how a small mistake at the mint can lead to the creation of a coin that becomes highly valuable. As more collectors began to take notice of these types of errors, the market for error coins grew, and the demand for coins like the 2004 off-center dime skyrocketed. This particular dime, once just a simple piece of currency, has now become a treasure in its own right. As time passed, the 2004 off-center dime's value steadily increased, with some coins selling for thousands of dollars at auction. But in recent years, the value of these rare dimes reached a new high. In 2023, a particularly well-preserved 2004 off-center dime was sold for $55,000, a remarkable sum for a coin that originally had a value of just 10 cents. This auction sale of the 2004 off-center dime was a defining moment for the coin, cementing its status as one of the most valuable error coins in modern American numismatic history. The coin's dramatic misalignment and unique features made it the centerpiece of the auction, and the intense bidding war only highlighted the growing fascination with these rare dimes. For the lucky collector who acquired the coin, it wasn't just about owning a piece of history. It was about securing a piece of numismatic treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars. The story of the 2004 off-center dime is a perfect example of how small mistakes can lead to extraordinary outcomes. A simple, seemingly insignificant error at the U.S. Mint transformed an ordinary 10-cent coin into something that would go on to be worth more than anyone could have predicted. Today, collectors continue to seek out these rare dimes, and their value remains high. For those who find one of these coins in their pocket change, it could be the start of an incredible journey into the world of rare coins and numismatic treasures. The 2004 off-center dime is more than just a coin. It's a testament to the unpredictable nature of coin collecting and the fascinating world of error coins. From an everyday dime to a sought-after treasure worth $55,000, this coin story shows how something as small and seemingly insignificant as a minting mistake can change the course of its value and turn it into a prized possession for collectors around the world. So, next time you handle a dime, take a moment to look closely. You never know what hidden treasures may lie within the smallest of imperfections. If you enjoyed this fascinating story and want to hear more about rare and valuable coins, be sure to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts, questions, and experiences with numismatics. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.